Nothing interested me. I already said that, but nothing interested me. This one was even too cliche for me, and that is saying something. And then all of a sudden, boom, sex scene. 2 out of 5 stars, and that is being generous. Voice, hello. Hello lovely bookworms and welcome to a new video. I'm Esmay from Paradise of Pages on Instagram and also on Twitter, and today's video I'm going to be talking about the books that I've read in November. So as you can see, I have a different setting. The reason for this and the reason why I'm switching it up a little bit is one, I have now my beautiful bookshelves here, so obviously they need to be on display. Second is the lighting isn't great right now. We're going into winter soon. Next month it'll be winter time, and that means that it's getting very, very dark and foggy and rainy outside, so the natural lighting is not great. But that said, this is the reason why I'm sitting here. Hopefully the settings and everything will be okay. Otherwise you can still hear me. So without further ado, let's get into the books that I've read this month. I've actually read quite a few books this month, and I have to say I'm very happy about that. I do have to say that most of the books I've read, one, in digital form, and two, were not on my TBR, but I still read books, so I'm still proud of myself. Anyway, my voice is all of a sudden gone. I don't feel great, so that could also be the reason. That said, let's get into the books. I do have my phone here, so I... Voice, hello. That said, I have my phone here to check all the names, because some of them I can't remember the names of. I'll explain that in a little bit, but I will start with the actual first book I have read this month, and that is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. If you follow my reading vlogs, you know I've started that a while ago. I tried to finish it in October, but I didn't, so I think I finished it the first or the second day of November. This was very, very enjoyable. I loved reading about Victor. I loved puzzling out why he was so angry, and I believe I gave this one 4.5 out of 5 stars. After that one was finished, I went knee-deep into Christmas stories. So I read, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. I read 5 Christmas stories, and the first one I read was It Happened on Christmas Eve by Christy Greenwood. Obviously you can always see the covers up here. I will edit that in later. And it was pretty enjoyable. It was not that big. I think this was actually a novella, but the story was cute, felt very Christmassy, grumpy going happy, that kind of thing, and I think I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. Okay, so the next one was The Christmas Proposal by Meredith Estee James, and this one I think was my favorite out of the ones that I've read. It was so incredibly cute. It's like it was more of a fan fiction kind of thing than an actual book, but it was just so adorable. I loved the characters. I loved the whole storyline. It was so dramatic that I loved it. And I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, moving on from my favorite to my least favorite of the month, which was Daisy's Christmas Gift Shop by Hannah Pearl. I don't know what it was. In the beginning it was kind of interesting, but the premise of it kind of says that you have like this Christmas gift shop owned by our protagonist who has been in love with her brother's best friend for years, which kind of sounds interesting. I mean, friends to lovers like haters to lovers. I always like those tropes. However, this book kind of turned into a half kidnapping, and the kidnapper apparently was in love with the one who kidnapped, and it was just too much for my brain. I did read it completely. This was also the longest out of all of them, sadly, and I believe that I gave this one 2 out of 5 stars, and that is being generous. Then the next one by Shelley Alexander is It's in His Christmas Wish. That one was pretty interesting as well. It's basically about this woman who wants to sort of help the children on Christmas, but to do so she doesn't want to decorate the town, and the town doesn't agree, so she has to work with like the biggest Christmas goon in the land. And apparently they've kind of been into each other for years, but she doesn't want people close and all those kinds of things. This book was actually pretty cute and I did really enjoy it, so I believe I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Something that did really surprise me was that I was reading it and it was all cute and nice and they were doing things for Christmas, and then all of a sudden, boom, sex scene. And I was like, I mean, I don't mind it. I have to say, I don't mind it, but I didn't expect it, so I was thinking, I remember reading and being like, wait, I didn't expect that to be in here. But I'm not complaining. I do like it from time to time anyway. Gave this one 4 of 5 stars. Alright, then next up is the last Christmas story already. And that is by Lindsay Harrell, and it's Like a Winter Snow. Oh right, I remember what this one was about. This is basically about a woman who takes care of her mother who has Alzheimer's, and then she has to go to England for Christmas because her best friend is getting married. There she meets Mr. Right, and from there on the story progresses. This one was even too cliche for me, and that is saying something. I always love cliche stories. I love romance, but this one, no. It just wasn't for me. It was just so cliche that I couldn't get on with it, and no, I gave this one 2 out of stars as well. Next up was one that I did really enjoy, and that was by Nadine Brandes, and that was Romanoff. This basically follows Anastasia, but follows Anastasia's story not in the Disney kind of sense, but it follows her when she's still with her family. So they start off sort of in a risky situation. Her father Nikolai has already abdicated the throne, and from there on the story progresses. There's magic in there, there's a great love interest. If you don't like your historical books to have romance and piece of fiction, this is not for you. I also don't really see it as a historical book, but more as a fiction using real life elements, if you know what I mean. But I really enjoyed it. It was really good. I remember going through it like a steamboat. I was done before I knew it, and it was awesome. It was absolutely amazing, and I gave this one 4.5 out of 5 stars, I believe, but I actually on Goodreads gave it like 5 actual stars. Okay, so the next book is gonna be kind of an unpopular opinion for a lot of people, I think, because this was in DNF, and that was actually the book of the month for our whimsical book club, Ninth House. I got to around page 100 and nothing interested me. The main character I found annoying. I was super confused. Nothing interested me. I already said that, but nothing interested me. And it just felt like a chore to read it, and I don't want books to feel like a chore. I'm reading for fun, and I'm not reading because I have to. I don't have enough time to read books I don't enjoy. So I DNF'd that one. Sorry if you loved it. We all have our opinions, obviously, and if you like something that I don't, it's all fine. So next up was actually the last book in a trilogy, and it was very enjoyable. I didn't expect to love it that much, but that one was The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. I think it was actually my favorite book from the trilogy, and I just liked the way it was wrapped up. I do have to say that some things were a little bit rushed or felt flat for me, so I gave this book eventually, I think, 4 out of 5 stars. Then we are getting to a heap of rereads. Well, heap, there's 3. And I do have to say that at the moment I'm reading this, it's not yet December, so there are 2 books on here that I haven't finished yet, but I'm pretty sure I will this week because I have a couple of days left, and rereads tend to go faster for me. I don't know why that is, but I'm just very excited to read these again. But the first book that I have reread this month was all of a sudden in my lap, and it was all of a sudden rereading it, and now we're here. So that one is actually The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. If you know me, if you know this channel, you know that this has been on here so often. Yes? I'm filming video, but I'll pause it. So I'm back. as I was saying, I keep rereading this. I think this is time 6. The Rose and the Dagger will be next, but not this month. I think next month. I just love this one in the pit of my being. It is just so amazing. I love it to death, and just seriously, it's just my all-time favorite ever. And then the last 2 books that I am reading this month still, I am currently reading, are Even the Darkest Stars by Heather Fawcett and All the Wandering Light by Heather Fawcett. I'm currently reading this one, and I think I'm, how far am I in? Like 80-ish pages, and I'm pretty sure I can finish this by the end of the month, and same goes for this one. I'll be diving into this one immediately after I finish the first one. I just love this duology. It's one of my favorites, and I can definitely recommend it. Those are actually all the books I've read this month, and I think personally that's very, very good of myself. I'm very proud of the fact that that I've read so much this month. I'm really getting back into the swing of things. I'm excited to read. I feel myself going towards books a lot more than I was in the past few months, and I just generally feel like I'm doing a lot better than I used to. I'm feeling happier because the Christmas spirit is here, and yeah, I think it's just going a lot better with me right now. That said, that is everything for this video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Also, what have you read this month? Please let me know. I'm always interested to see what was on your TBR or you eventually ended up reading. That's always great to know. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and press that little bell icon so you get post notifications every single time that we post. And I will see you guys the next time. Bye!